What's up, your boy, Guy Named Tye, and welcome back to another finance talk. Okay, there's this really great video. It's actually called "How I Got Rich When I Understood This." Okay, and it's with Tony Robbins. It's a really great video. I really suggest you guys watch it. But if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, I'm gonna be jumping through some of the main points that you're gonna want to take away from this. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get into this.
Simple ideas and analogies that anyone can understand. So make sure you guys get this. Again, 100% go to Feeding America. Is that the foundation, right?
Yeah, they'll feed them.
It's a game changer. I highly recommend it. And I've got some questions for you. We had some of our listeners ask questions. So I'm going to ask some of those.
Cool.
But I wanted to ask first what the difference is between someone who is financially rich and someone who's financially poor. What's the difference?
Well, there's lots of differences, but I'd say the first one is someone who is financially rich is an owner. They're not a consumer. They're a consumer also. But when somebody is poor, they're a consumer. All they do is they take I always tell people we're all financial traders. A lot of people say, I'm not a financial trader. Yes, you are. You're trading time for money. Yeah. That's the worst.
Yeah, we're always trading something. So whether you're trading time for money, knowledge for money, value for money, most people are trained from when they're very young to trade time for dollars. Personally, I don't want to trade time for dollars anymore because I realized I can't get that back. Okay, time is gone. If you trade money for money, like, it's infinite. Money never ends. If you trade products for money, it's infinite. You can make as much as you want. But time, you only have so much time on this planet. Anyway, let's hop back into this.
Worst trade you can ever make in your life. Somebody who's wealthy has made money their slave. They're no longer the slave to money. And the way they do that is they figured out how to become an owner. And the way you do that in the most simplistic way, I even taught it in my first book, was you have to decide there's a percentage of money that you're going to keep forever. You're not going to give it to Kate Spade or Ferrari or anybody else. You can do that too. But there's a percentage of that income that never will be touched, that you will grow and compound and will provide income the rest of your life so you don't have to work. Now, when I was growing up, everybody's goal was get rich enough so you never have to work. Now, like, all my friends are 15, 18 years my senior. People like Steve Wynn in most of Las Vegas, he's like 74. Warren Buffett's 85. Peter Guber, one of my dearest friends in the world, owns the Golden State Warriors, the LA Dodgers. We're partners in the LAFC football team in LA. Brilliant guy, 74 years old. And they're all working harder now than they ever were, and they don't have to work. So the goal is make enough money so you don't have to work, and then you'll do what you love, and you'll pour your time and energy.
Yeah, that's a really, really great piece of advice right there. The goal is not necessarily to not work, okay? And I tell a lot of my clients this, even retirement, okay? The goal of retirement is not to say, I'm not working ever again. The goal of retirement is to say, I'm not working things that I don't like anymore. Now I can go and work and do whatever I want. And there's a book called Retire Young, Retire Rich. It's one of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. It's a part of that series. And they say retirement just means once you're out of the rat race. For them, retirement meant, hey, now we're focusing on investment properties. Okay, for me, my goal for retirement is say, hey, now I'm going to work on music. I'm going to work on building up different foundations to help youth in arts and youth in business, right? Really teaching you youth about finances. I'm going to focus on, myself. I want to get into real estate. That sounds fun. And land acquisition, when I was young, I used to work on an orchard. I want to have one and hire a bunch of people. So now there's other bigger things that I would love to explore. Second I can get out of this rat race, that's the first place I'm going, okay? And I'm sure that you have some things in mind of what you would rather be doing with your time than the job that you're at right now, okay? Jobs are literally stand for just over broke. And that's where they keep us for as long as they can. But let's hear what else they have to say over here.
Into it, but you have to make that decision. It's the first most important decision is I'm going to become an owner of American business. You don't want to have an Apple phone and not own Apple. And you don't want to just own Apple because any company can go up and down, right? You want to own the index. You want to own, a variety with enough diversification. But if you can just shift, and I've taught people who've told me they have no money, they can't save. It's really easy once you get momentum. There's a research project I did with a gentleman who was nominated for Nobel Prize on behavioral finance. And what he did was he said, if you can even, you need to save 15% ideally. But if you could even save 3%, because anybody can do that. They took a group of blue collar workers in the Midwest and said, we're going to force you to save 3%. I think it was 3.25 or 3.5. But then everybody can go on a diet tomorrow. Everybody can save money tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So his tool was, all right, you're not going to save today, you're going to save tomorrow. We'll do the 3.5%, but then you go to your employer and say, the next time I get a raise, the first 5% goes to my savings account, to my investing account. And then every time you get a raise, you do that. Well, in 14 years, the average person was saving 15%, and the top 40% were saving 20%. Well, let me explain what that means. You and I were together before. When I'm trying to explain compounding to people, everybody understands it intellectually.
Okay, yeah, compounding is, he's going to dive into that. But as far as these percentages go, I tell clients save 10%. 15% or more is greater. My personal goal is to try and save 30% or more. Okay, when I get to 30%, I'm going to be so excited. Okay, the more of your income that you can put to work for you, we call it the money at work system. The more of your income that could work on your behalf, the better off that you're going to be in the long run. Okay, and compounding is just such a beast. Compounding is such a beast. Okay, so many people don't understand the power of compounding, and they push it off to the future. And I'm telling you, you don't want to push this off to the future. You're going to wish you started 10 years ago. Okay.
But when I ask some of the richest people in the world, what are most investors failing to do? And they all say they're not tapping the power of compounding. So if you're in a situation where, as an example, let's take you've got $100,000 that you've saved, you're 35 years old, and you put it in the market and just leave it there and never add anything to it. If you leave it in the market and you're only being charged 1% in fees, at retirement 35 years later, you got $762,000 from that 100. Never added a dime. They grew that much.
Wow.
But if you pay 3% in fees, which is the average most people are paying, when you ask people what they're paying, they don't know, or they say 1%. Because when you hear about fees, let's say a mutual fund fee, you'll always hear 1%. That's the expense ratio. There are 17 other fees. So every 1% you overpay, 1% is the average. But if you pay 2 or 3, and the average mutual fund is 3.12, sounds like nothing, 1 or 2%. But every 1% you overpay because of compounding means you lose a decade of income.
Okay, my computer is not having a good time right now. But compounding works in both ways, okay? Both compound losses and compound interest, they're exponential, okay? We want to really tap into compound interest, and we want to minimize compound losses, all right? Let's see what else he has to say.
So the person who paid 1% has $762,000. The person who paid 3% has $452,000, and they own the same stocks. It's just fees. So while we compound our interest, we also compound fees. So if you could save 3% and build it to 5, 10, 15, or you start with 10 or 15 and eventually get to 20, the best example I can give your viewers is that there's a gentleman who worked for UPS who literally never made more than $14,000 a year. You heard about him in the book. And when he retired, he had $70 million.
Crazy.
And he gave away $35 million while he was alive. And the reason was a friend of his set him aside and said, look, I'm going to make you rich. He goes, I'm never going to be rich. I make 14 grand a year. He goes, I'm going to make you rich. I'm going to make you rich later in life. And I'm going to do it.
Okay, this is something that you do when you care about people, okay? When you care about someone and you sit them down and you're like, hey, I'm going to make you rich. You may not like it right now, but you'll love me later. Okay, it's just like they say a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, right? But that medicine needs to go down one way or another, okay, whether you want it or not. Otherwise, you might die. So with this, I believe they're saying that they put away 20%, okay? And Tony then says, hey, if the government came along and said, hey, your taxes are 20% more this year, you're going to throw a fit. But at the end of the day, you're going to pay those taxes, all right? You're still going to make those taxes work on your behalf. Like you're going to figure out how to make it happen, and you're going to live on the rest, or you're going to have to increase your income, okay? But this person never made more than $40,000 a year. How do you have 77 million at the end of your life? Well, that 20% of your income that you had compounding for you is just one way to actually be able to do this. Okay. So I'm going to end the video off here. All right. Yeah, if you guys want more information, I would definitely will have the link to this video. It is called I Got Rich When I Understood This. It's Tony Robbins and Lewis Howes. And this is just one of the many, this is an amazing video. They go through so many nuggets of knowledge. But I just want to share with you guys the first little bit, okay? So if you want more information, definitely subscribe to the newsletter. Every week we're sending out fitness, finance, and lifestyle and for tools so that you can build your dream life, okay? Remember, the system wants us to be fat, broke, and hopeless, okay? We want to master our fitness and finance so we can build our dream lifestyle and build that freedom that we actually want, okay? Anyway, that is all for me today. Thank you, tribe, and I will see you soon. Hope you have a great day. Peace.